Hello and welcome to the Candida candidate. I hope you will be informed about the connection between Candida or Candidiasis and IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, or Chrons, or bloating, or endometriosis, and I will also speak a little bit about the Candida Diet. So let's start with Candida overgrowth causing your IBS. Is a Candida overgrowth causing your IBS? Candida and IBS can coexist, but the relationship between the two is not clear-cut. Here you will find a discussion on Candida and what research has to say about its role in IBS. In our bodies, we find microorganisms. This world includes bacteria and fungi. Candida is a fungus, more specifically a type of yeast found in our mouths, intestines, on our skin, and for women in the vagina. Although there are numerous strains of Candida, Candida albicans is the species most commonly identified in humans. When we are healthy, Candida resides in moderate amounts in the body, without causing us any symptoms. It is kept in check by our immune systems and by the body's natural bacteria. Candidiasis refers to invasive infection by this fungus, infections in the mucosal membranes of skin, mouth, groin, lungs, blood. People who have a compromised immune system due to factors like cancer treatment, AIDS, malnutrition, or medication, or stress, are at higher risk for infections, as are people who have diabetes or who wear dentures. The site of infection is often related to the underlying health conditions. For example, infections in the mouth or esophagus affect people who have dentures. You can have Candidiasis in your mouth or throat. It's called thrush. You can have it in the bloodstream. It's called Candidemia. And in esophagus, Candida esophagitis. And the vagina, genital or vulvovaginal Candidiasis. On the skin, cutaneous Candidiasis. Invasive Candidiasis is a more general encompassing term for severe Candida infections. There are some treatments, but as you know, I recommend holistic and natural treatment, and I recommend a diet, Candida diet. Candida is part of the healthy flora of the digestive tract, unlike other parts of the body where a Candida infection can be clearly identified. The picture is not quite so clear when it comes to the intestines. Overgrowth in the gut is not considered candidiasis, and it isn't considered an infection at all. There is ulcerative colitis. There is a connection, and you have irritable bowel syndrome, there is a connection. But in the medical world, you cannot say it is a connection, but you can hypothesize. So, although many hypothesize that yeast overgrowth leads to symptoms, this remains hypothetical only. Some preliminary research is being conducted using blood, breath, and urine measures to determine the presence of excessive yeast, but sensitivity and reliability are not established. So I found this article in verywellhealth.com. Verywellhealth.com, yeah. And let's go on to speak about endometriosis and inflammatory bowel disease. So, inside the uterus there are some cells, or the cell wall. And the cells there can start to grow outside the uterus. And, well, let's read about it. Endometriosis is a painful condition where tissue from the inside of the uterus grows in other places, such as the abdominal cavity, over the ovaries, on the intestines, in the vagina or the cervix. Rarely does this tissue travel to further sites such as the lungs or brain. However, it can occur. When the tissue implants, it often causes all sorts of problems, such as pelvic and abdominal pain, pain with intercourse, pain with bowel movements or urination, fertility problems, menstrual problems, and more. Symptoms are usually worse near or during the menstrual cycle, but can be a problem all cycle long. Many with endometriosis have gastrointestinal problems because of the implants adhering to the intestinal or colon walls, creating a lot of pain, diarrhea, constipation, or overall irritable bowel symptoms, IBS. Now, researchers in Denmark have studied almost 38,000 women with endometriosis and found a direct link between it and the development of inflammatory bowel syndrome or disease, different from IBS, such as ulcerative colitis and Chron's disease. The researchers aren't entirely sure why this link exists. However, they have surmised that it is due to the shared immune system issues that cause the development of both inflammatory conditions. Those with endometriosis are typically diagnosed based on symptoms and/or surgical evaluation. Endometriosis does not usually show up on ultrasound. Therefore, if your pelvic ultrasound is normal, it does not mean you're free and clear. It must be pretty severe to show up on MRI. Surgery is typically done through tiny incisions in the abdomen, where your doctor can use a camera to see the implants and then remove them if necessary. They may still grow back, however. Mainstream treatment for endometriosis involves trials with pain medications, oral contraceptives to control hormones, the IUD with a progestin in it known as the Mirena surgery, and other stronger hormone type medication. Inflammatory bowel disease is generally diagnosed based on colonoscopy, where a very small camera is inserted in order to view your entire colon and take biopsies of concerning areas of tissue if necessary. Due to the strong correlation between endometriosis and IBD, talk with your healthcare provider about having a colonoscopy, especially if you experience any gastrointestinal symptoms. Yeah, there you are. And let's go to the next one. It's also about endometriosis. So I will just read very quickly through this page. This is bodyecology.com. bodyecology.com. Find out what this widespread reproductive disorder has to do with Candida. Endometriosis is a gynecological disorder that usually shows up during a woman's reproductive years. According to one 2010 report, endometriosis affects up to 10% of women in the United States. It has been determined that endometriosis has a strong relationship with gut dysbiosis, Candida albicans, autoimmune disorders, allergies. So far, there is no cure for this disorder. The best a doctor can do for a patient with endometriosis is to manage the symptoms. Most often, symptoms include severe pelvic pain, infertility, constipation. Each month, a woman's ovaries produce hormones that tell the cells lining the uterus to multiply. When a woman does not get pregnant, these cells slough. I don't know how to pronounce this, but slug off and are shed with a woman's menstrual blood. When these cells are found living and growing outside of the uterus, this is what is known as endometriosis. These endometrial cells grow and bleed just like the cells in the uterus. As these cells bleed according to a woman's monthly cycle, blood is released wherever the cells are located. Well, it does not say where this blood goes. Will it leave the body through the vagina? Or will it be left inside the body? Interesting. Endometrial cells have been known to implant on the ovaries, the bowel, in the rectum, the bladder, lining of the pelvis. Once these cells bleed, there is swelling, and the body will often mount an immune response. Yeah. So you will have like infectious pain or something like that. Endometriosis promotes the growth of Candida. Well, maybe it's the other way around. Maybe it's Candida that promotes the growth of endometriosis. A study published in 2002 in the Journal of Human Reproduction looked for a connection between endometriosis and the microorganisms in the intestinal tract. While researchers used rhesus monkeys in the study, it was their hope that the findings would shed some light on this common condition that affects so many women. The study determined that intestinal inflammation occurs more frequently in those with endometriosis than those without it. An inflamed gastrointestinal tract contains different microorganisms than a healthy gastrointestinal tract. When it comes to gastrointestinal inflammation, Candida albicans is especially prevalent. So Candida albicans is native to the human body and part of a healthy inner ecosystem. Only when Candida grows beyond control does it pose a toxic threat. This can happen for a number of reasons, but the most common are poor diet and excessive use of antibiotic therapy and stress. Both a poor diet and antibiotic use can disrupt the natural balance of microorganisms that live in the body. Well, a diet high in sugar is not good. It can promote Candida overgrowth. So a healthy, balanced inner ecosystem keeps Candida in check. Without friendly bugs and without balance, the yeast Candida is able to quickly dominate its environment and colonize other areas of the body. So it says, women with endometriosis are at higher risk for Candida overgrowth. And I will turn it upside down. I will say that Candida overgrowth, women with Candida overgrowth are at higher risk for endometriosis. So part of this risk has to do a disturbance in the delicate balance of microorganisms in the gut. Candida and endometriosis, two ways to calm inflammation. Even though endometriosis involves multiple systems in the body, so far physicians only manage the disorder by lowering overall estrogen. While endometriosis may or may not be an autoimmune condition, there is enough evidence telling us to support the immune system. Endometriosis is commonly found with other autoimmune disorders. Sure. 2. Occurs with other inflammatory bowel conditions. Sure. When you are not in balance, if the ecosystems in your bowel is not in balance, you will have a leaky gut. When you have leaky gut, some proteins will pass the gut and enter into the bloodstream, and the body will fight against foreign proteins, and that will cause the symptoms that you call allergy. That is the autoimmune system or disease. It's not that the body will attack itself. Actually not. But that's the story for now. Number 3. Endometriosis puts a woman at higher risk for candida overgrowth, or the other way around. One of the best ways to balance the immune system is to support gastrointestinal function. In fact, when it comes to an autoimmune disorder, a balanced inner ecosystem is essential because it reinstates the gut barrier, which protects the body from further flare-ups and inflammation. We can manage the immune system and decrease inflammation by doing 2 things. Eat foods that nourish the body, promote alkalinity, and do not feed infections. You can see specific guidelines in the body ecology diet. You can consume probiotic-rich foods every day in order to inoculate the gut with healing, beneficial microorganisms. An easy way to get the highest quality living probiotics is through a few ounces of energy biotic. Well, this is not the whole truth, I guess, but it's a part of the truth. My personal opinion is that there are some enzymes you can buy supplement with different enzymes, and some enzymes eat or destroy candida. So I think you should have a candida diet, and you should have less stress, you should sleep well, you should have harmony in your life, and you should have some supplements and avoid all sugary food for some time, maybe a ketogenic diet, or well, let's move on to the diet. This is livestrong.com. This is not my personal view, but I will tell you about it. So there are not a scientific study about fruit and candida, but it can be interesting to know. Some fruits are heavy in fructose. Grapes, mangoes. Well, here it says, fruits to avoid with candida. If you have frequent colds and flu, allergies, food sensitivities, recurring urinary tract and yeast infections, a persistent cough, skin problems, constipation, irritability, brain fog or fatigue, you may have candida. According to the Candida Diet website, this condition is characterized by the overgrowth of Candida albicans, a fungus that in excess in the body may cause these undesirable effects. The Candida Diet is a low sugar eating plan with bans both added and natural sugars. This means you can't eat any fruit for the duration of the diet. No sugars allowed. Proponents of the Candida Diet theorized that sugar is one of the main causes of Candida overgrowth. According to the Candida Diet website, Candida feeds on sugars. The more sugar available to the cells, the easier and faster they can grow and expand their colonies. For this reason, the Candida Diet recommends avoiding sugar of any kind, whether it's from cake, candy or cookies, or from a nutritious source like fruit. You can't have any type of food normally classified as a fruit. This means no apples, pears, oranges, mangoes, blueberries, kiwis, melons, strawberries, grapes or grapefruit. Any form of fruit, fresh, frozen, canned or dried, is off limits. However, there are a few exceptions, most of them of a technical nature. You can eat foods biologically classified as fruits, but commonly considered as vegetables. This group includes tomatoes, eggplant, cucumber, peppers, okra and avocados. You can have a squeeze of fresh lemon juice according to the Candida Diet website, and you can have olives that have not been prepared with white distilled vinegar. So, in my personal view, I got very bloated when I ate watermelon and honey melon, and I had to run to the toilet to urinate very quickly after eating grapes. So I am quite sure that sweet fruits especially will have an effect on the bowel and the Candida overgrowth in the bowel. Well, the diet will last for some time. So the point of the Candida diet is to starve the fungus of sugar so it dies and comes under control. The Candida Diet website explains that this could take a few weeks to several months. Once your system have subsided, you can begin reintroducing healthy foods such as fruits. The website suggests starting with low sugar fruits such as green apples. If your symptoms don't return, keep adding a range of fruit into your diet. And here it says you may not need to avoid fruits. There's little evidence supporting the effectiveness of dietary changes in controlling Candida. Well, I disagree strongly. According to the University of Maryland Medical Center, the diet may not actually get rid of Candida, but it may improve symptoms because it is a healthy diet that limits the intake of processed food, added sugars, white flour and other foods that are low in nutrients. However, fruit is a healthy food that is high in fiber and essential vitamins and minerals and enzymes. So for a healthy person, it is very healthy to eat fruit. That is my personal opinion about it. But for a person with Candida overgrowth, it is my personal opinion that you should avoid fruit for some time while you are on the Candida diet? Well, you can read more about this. You can Google Candida overgrowth, Candida diet, and you will find a lot of information. So, for today, that's all. I hope this was informative, and I hope you can pass on this information to others that need it. I hope you like the video and the information, and I hope you can subscribe to this channel, and I hope you come back to see more. My name is Robert, I'm 57 years old, and I have had many symptoms for many years, and I never got any help from the doctor, so I had to do my own research. I have studied this for years: lifestyle, diets, and healthy living, medication, and I have a holistic approach. I think you should have balance mentally and physically. You should have harmony in your life. You should avoid stress. You should eat healthy food. You should eat fruits, vegetables, meat, fish, egg, all sorts of fruit and meat and fish and vegetables. Variation is the thing. Yeah. So bye for now. Thank you for watching. I'm happy that you are seeking and searching for information about this, so please pass it on to other people that need it. It's a pleasure for me to share this information. I have struggled for so many years, so it is so nice to finally have found this important connection. I have many more videos to make about Candida and the connection with several symptoms and diseases. So please remember this channel and come back. Bye for now. Thank you very much. Have a healthy life.